What's happening?
Hey, what's up?
We're late.
Yeah, we are.
What was going on,
I
Mangler?
I fell asleep.
Tell the public.
I'm
You
old.
f- you fell asleep.
Yeah, it's my nap time.
Yeah,
You
nappy
dick.
time got you.
Yeah, nap time got me.
Well,
Oh man,
if it
it
was
was
up
all
to
the
me,
excitement from the past week that has
bro,
got
if it
me
was up
worn
to me,
down.
I'd be on nap time too.
Yeah,
I'm sitting here.
you feeling it?
Uh, Not well. Yeah, I'm feeling it. I've been feeling it. But I'm sitting here wrenching my dick off trying to get what was a mod 12 scale with low ball. I'm sorry, a mod touring car with very low balls into a stock touring car for this upcoming weekend. So
What happened to your other stock touring car?
it has a carbon chassis. I think it's going to be too bound up
Oh,
with the Jayco tires. So we'll see. I don't really know yet, but this somewhat older generation alloy Osmatics car. It has like the older, alloy chassis on it.
mm-hmm.
Still, still good, but just not the new hotness one. Um, but yeah. Anyway, so
It's got a
that's what
little
I'm
life
doing.
though.
Yeah, it's fine. As long as it's flat, it'll be fine. That's the
Well,
reality.
is it flat? It was a
I,
mod car.
yeah, I think so. I haven't really checked. Let's put it that way.
Are you going to?
No, that's because even if it isn't flat, the reality is I don't have a chassis here. There's some in Cleveland,
Yeah.
but there's none in Seattle, so it doesn't help me.
All right.
Anyway,
So you're just doing it, sitting it.
yeah, just doing it, bro. Full send. Um, all right. Anyway, I'll stop. So
Yeah, no one wants to
what
watch you work on your shit.
what your hand? Well, people are gonna be like, he's wrenching on something. Yeah, that never happens. Anyway, um, so pray tell, Senor Mangler, how is your Roar 2022 paved on-road national experience?
It was a valley of emotions, little highs and lows.
Yeah.
Um, thankfully there's rule 12.3.6.3. And hey, I'm thankful for that rule.
Okay.
Which, I gave it this is one thing that I don't think we ever talked about is censorships in your driver sponsor sheets and being
Break
censored
break that news, man.
so like I had put in there that I was very thankful for Roar Rule 12.3.6.3, and that didn't get mentioned in my sponsor sheets. So
Are
I
you
was
trying to say
censored.
the man was trying to do a cover up on you?
I was censored.
Hmm,
I mean,
I can
I,
see
I
that.
get it. So yeah, I mean, it's like most things in Florida. It got screwed up. There had to be a recount. Um, you know, the Chads were hanging. They had to get them
Oh,
corrected, and so yeah, that's how it worked out. But had a good time. Nice seeing everyone, hanging out with everybody. Uh, Weather for the
let's
most part, I think was great.
yeah, it was some of the best uh, outdoor racing weather I've ever had in the grand scheme of things. Like
Mm,
the only place I think which was better would have been at Speed Zone. Rest in peace. Like that track has had much better weather. Like it's just super hot
Yeah,
there. But yeah, other than that, much better than the 2013 paved nationals that we did, where one day was totally rained out. That was a shit show.
that and
Um,
it was hot as altogether. So much after that, it was horrible.
Yeah, I don't even remember. Like I've gone blind to what happened at that event.
Yeah,
I just know my car was okay in the sort of cold conditions, when it
yeah.
was only 80 or 90. But then when it was blazing hot, my car sucked. That's all I really remember. Um, anyway, uh, yeah. So it was. I think you bring up that Roar rule, the whatever it is, 12.3.6.3. Is that what it is?
Yep.
And that was just kind of like the thing to cap off a lot of the follies in running an event.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really funny to me, the week prior, I reluctantly was kind of forced to help run an event, or basically run an event at the NYGP.
Right.
And
How'd that go?
I think the event went great.
Yeah.
The thing I pride ourselves with is we had a schedule for the event, and so you kind of knew what was expected of you.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't really something we got at the Roar event. I would say the tech at the NYGP was about as good as the Roar tech was, which is not saying anything for the Roar tech. Um, Although they bring that box of doom and they force you to do all this other nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the fact that, like, stuff that is not on the approved product list, whether it be batteries or whether it be bodies. Um, I just don't know how. Like, if you put everyone, and all the manufacturers through the torment of having to submit these things,
Mm-hmm.
why can't you uphold the rules?
Right.
It's it's just madness to me.
So,
And
I
like
mean, look. Hold on a
it
second. Look.
has, yeah, okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
To me, like, it only has one, like, there's one epicenter around the spiral, like the just spiral of disaster. And it has to do with, like, what is effectively who's the race director, and what is he or isn't he doing correctly. And whether people are nice or not, I honestly don't care, because if you're not competent in what you do, that's what makes me angry. And
Mm-hmm.
so, like, I don't know how Roar continues to get away with having who the man who is the actual IFMAR president, which is even scarier to say, Jeff Parker, being involved at these events. He doesn't know the rules. He doesn't pay attention to the rules. He gets all crotchety about you when you tell him he's wrong. And I just don't get it. I don't understand why it happens. And all I can say is, the news I heard was that as of October 15th, anyone who wanted to become Roar president had to have their name submitted. I don't know if anyone else has been submitted and they're eligible other than Clayton Young. I know that the Roar voting would start on November 1st. And, all I have to say is we need everyone to, if Clayton is running unopposed, well, then maybe we'll be okay. If Clayton isn't running unopposed and there is somebody in the opposition, um, we all need to help. We need to mobilize. We need to get the troops out. And starting November 1st, we need to vote and try to fix this freaking train wreck of an organization, where we need to start having, like, fiscal responsibility. We have to have competent people being sent to events. Um, and I even assert that the people who go to the events should maybe have raced one of these events before. That would be great. Maybe you need to be relevant in the hobby. That'd be awesome. And honestly, there was someone in the sort of like Roar ecosystem who was there racing at the event. Rob King was there. That's great. Happy to see Rob racing at the event. But, like, yeah, there's so many things that frustrate me about this event. And it honestly has nothing to do with the track, or the bad tires, or the low grip surface, or my failures at driving the track, or the clown show guy who likes to just rustle the jimmies of all the old white guys at the track. It's just ridiculous. Like, uh, all that other sideshow, honestly, has nothing to do with everyone's experience. It's like, the fact that, I don't know. Anyway, I'm almost too tired to complain more about the event and about Roar. I like Joe. I actually kind of like Joe. DePinto. He's kind of funny to me. I get him. All right, he's
Oh,
just
it's
a New
the New York,
Yorker.
New Jersey
All right,
bond. Yeah,
I totally get him. All right, I
yeah.
he's like the get off my lawn, kids sort of
He's
guy
fucking
down
Larry
the street.
David.
Yeah, whatever. I don't think he's that cool, but Larry David is really cool actually.
He's kind of
Um,
Larry David, I think.
but and in general, like the club is amazing. It has a lot of strength. I've never seen more people wearing orange shirts that were signified as staff and they were helping run the event. They had
Yeah.
tremendous support. Like you had an army of people there. And that's one of the healthiest clubs I've seen in a long time at a Roar event. It's just the other kind of like tomfoolery around the Roar event just distracts from the whole thing. And to me, it's kind of annoying. And um, like funny enough, one of the first days we were there, the Roar Region 4 regional director showed up and he had heard me on another podcast talking about the old men in Roar and how we
Mm,
need to get rid of them. And
yeah.
he approached me from behind and he's like, "What do you have?"
Oh, behind, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I'm sitting there at my table, wrenching or doing something or at least talking shit. And he's like, "So what do you have against old people?" And I look up and there's an old person behind me. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And like, shouldn't he be at an early bird? And like the reality is, if you're the Roar Region 4 director and you have the Nationals at your fucking region, why the fuck aren't you there? You could
Well, he
help
was
maybe
there
try to. No, he
for
was there for a
5 minutes.
day, like
Not even a
commutating and
day,
then
like
leaving.
3 hours.
Okay, great. Why aren't you helping make the event not be a shit show?
So I guess the thing that, stepping back and, being, fair
You're
and
gonna
honest.
be you're gonna be politically correct, Mangler. Now watch, and I was just
Well,
ranting
well,
FJ.
I guess the thing is that from what I can see and what I could tell at this event, I haven't been to a Roar event probably since 2018, maybe. Anyway, um, so it's been a while, and needless to say, the thing is that I noticed is that there wasn't the RMT didn't seem like it existed. So, and I don't understand. I think that the part of the Roar management team or the RMT team is to send a group of individuals to run the races and do certain aspects of the race.
Yep.
And from what I can understand, there was two persons that were part of the RMT team, and then there was just a bunch of people that just happened to be there that were helping out.
Well, I think there was really three. So one of our podcast participants here, Chris Crowder, he effectively was part of RMT. He was just
Yes,
the announcer at
right.
RMT.
So
But
there
then
was
there was, yeah,
okay. So then there's Jeff,
yep, correct.
and who else?
And Jeff's wife, she was
Oh,
a
she.
paid participant at that event.
Okay, so she was part of the RMT.
From what I understand, yes. I don't sign their checks. I don't know anything about that, but that's what I
Okay,
believe to have occurred.
so that's interesting that she was part of the RMT because she didn't do anything.
Well, she sat there with a clipboard. What does that mean?
I
That's
don't
not
know.
doing anything?
Yeah, no. Um, so that's interesting. But needless to say, I think that the lack of RMT or people they're designated to have assigned roles for whatever reason didn't happen. And I think that's part of any region national event, especially a level 5 event, is that you're supposed to have a full RMT team. Now, because maybe there wasn't enough entries or there wasn't whatever, I don't know why that didn't happen. Or they couldn't get enough people to show up to be part of the RMT team. I don't know. What I do know is that there was too many hats and not enough people to fill all those hats. And I think that was the beginning of the end. Not only was there that, but there was people again, like you mentioned, stickering of items that were not legal, just randomly stickering things. Just I'll put a sticker on it. It's good. There is also the uh, not having any of the information of products that are legal or not legal at your disposal, i.e., a printed list. So like they had to physically go online and figure out how to look it up. There was no preparation. There was no like any type of documents or just a laminated list of what's good and what's not.
That would be
Um,
useful.
yeah,
There's no such thing as like tools to allow you to check speedos,
yeah,
to check the version of software, to maybe help erase or update the version of software.
no,
There's nothing showing what the blink code should be, yada yada yada. It was very funny. Like half of what I saw happening was people, and it really means Jeff, going over to Clayton and asking Clayton what the rule was or what should you do now.
right,
And Clayton's not a part of Roar at the moment.
no,
Like that's the funniest part to me.
yeah. It was like almost he was making decisions, even though he was just some guy who just like, hey, I want to be world president one day.
Yeah,
You
he was
know,
just a dude racer,
yeah, he was just
trying
a
to
racer.
trying to
Yeah,
get his stock touring on, you know?
I
So,
mean, I guess so. I mean, back to my point. I mean, I think it was a situation of there just wasn't enough people for the hats that needed to be filled, and that one person. So I'm going to give Jeff a little bit of a break. One person can't do it all. However, he was like a fucking cat in a fucking laser pointer fucking convention because he was fucking everywhere. Like it just was. There was no paying attention to anything. Uh, he was pulled in a million different directions. He couldn't make effective decisions because of it. I mean, so I think there is some excuse for it, but the excuse is very poor at best because just because you don't have enough people, you need to figure out a way to organize or delegate to say, hey, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. I mean, as the race director, the guy who was not the race director, but the announcer, to actually have to do all the motor tech too. I mean, that's like, does Chris get paid for both positions?
no.
Well,
No,
he
you're
should
just dumb
have
enough
because
to
he,
be there.
I guess so. But I mean, it's things like that, and that's what I don't understand. Why wasn't the RMT handled in the most appropriate way or used correctly? Um, uh, no offense to Jeff's wife, but I didn't see her do anything. Like I really didn't. Like
She handed
not in
out
any type of
stickers.
official. Yeah, she handed out stickers. She checked off a clipboard. And if she got paid for that,
She got
that's
paid.
that's sad. That really is. Because
But
I, I you know, I yeah. Because there's other hopefully those other guys that were in tech and helping work,
they didn't
that
get
were part
paid.
the
They were
part of the club,
volunteers.
they should have gotten paid because
Joe could have paid them.
they did way more work
Yeah.
than her.
The actual race runner, which is actually Roar, but the host track is kind of obliged to offer up people to help work the event.
Mhm.
And those people could get paid, but it would be coming out of the pocket of the host track, not of the people who actually take the $100 per entry,
Mm.
which is Roar. So I don't know. It's definitely an interesting kind of state of affairs. And also, just so you know, right now, Mangler, we got 44 people watching.
No, they're
That's
they're
pretty
in.
big. Yeah. So, like, some of my favorite things that went wrong, other than what we've already shared, is kind of like the rough driving or the lack of rough driving calls that occurred during the event, especially on Mains Day. And
Well, I mean, I can a perfect example. You had left for this, so I don't think you saw it. But for A3 of mod touring, like we circle around, we do our warm up, and we go line up, and Jeff is nowhere to be found. Like, is someone going to set the grid? No one set the grid. The grid was just we just kind of had to do it on our own. We were close enough, and we're at this point we are like, fuck it, let's just go because we
mhm,
didn't want to wait for somebody to come out and set the grid. So we
yep,
just went, and then so we ran a whole main. When we got done, Jeff standing off in the corner bullshitting with somebody. We've taken our cars to tech, and we're like, hey, are you going to tech our cars? Are you going to do something? Like he didn't even realize we raced. I don't think.
yep,
And the fact of the matter is that we're sitting over there with our cars in tech. We're the last race. We should just be released and let go. And I started yelling at him like, "Hey, are you going to do something?" And then he got kind of cute with me, and I'm like, "Whatever." I didn't really want to. I wasn't about to get into it with anybody, but I'm just like, that wasn't the moment to be cute. They should have been doing your job.
Yep.
And I think that you and I, uh, being that in our real world lives, we are leaders and, we have people who work for us, we have expectations upon them. And, at this event too, there should be expectations and they were not met.
Yeah, the Roar Nationals is honestly, in my mind, other than the IFMAR Worlds, it's the race you want to win because it should be the most um, sanctioned, the most fair uh, event possible. And you know, it didn't necessarily come across as that, um, at this go around, which is, I think kind of unfortunate. And so, I bet there's a bunch of racers that would, they have their own little personal like story. I know, you know, one of the folks we know, a super high competitive guy, Mike G. He got into an altercation with another racer in one of the mains. I think it was Q2, or I'm sorry, A2 in mod, and like folks are looking for a penalty call. Folks are looking for something. There was a stock racer that had a similar event where someone got peeled. They were supposed to stop and go. The guy had a body tuck, and um, the again similarly the racer didn't do what was expected of them. When I remember of years past, like the very first Roar event I ever went to uh, was 2011 at Jackson RC, which was just my local track. All right, nothing special, just the local track. All right, and the only thing I had to do with the club at the time was I was the moron who would help drag the soda cart around the track. That's it. That was my involvement in the club, just trying to help out. So anyway, the things I remember was Bob Ingersoll was the race director, and he would be on the driver's stand with all the drivers. So if he saw something that was wrong, he could talk to the drivers directly. Something continued to be wrong, he could again talk to the drivers directly. Nothing like that occurred at this event. And I honestly think that that should be a mandatory type of action in this style of event. I then like also think back to other like major events I went to. I've been to the 2014 IFMAR Worlds at Kissimmee, and the referee at the track was none other than Masami. All right, the guy who can drive with his feet, the winner of many races all over the world. And I actually had a fortunate event with Masami there, and um, where I was in like the triple F main of modified, and I don't know, maybe somewhere near the front. I was at least not at the back of the triple F main. I was near the front of the triple
Look
F
at
main,
you.
and guess who's behind me? A gentleman by the name of Uri Huddy. Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
He's the old man Huddy. And so old man Huddy, he'll probably love me calling him that. But anyway, old man
He's not
Huddy,
watching.
it's fine. He's bird dogging me on the track, and he basically drives through me. I'm making my car as wide as could be. He just drives through me. And so, um, you know, uh, Masami calls a stop and go on Uri. Uri ignores him. Uri is yelling back and forth at Masami. I'm sitting there laughing at him, laughing at Uri in the way that I could. And eventually Uri is disqualified from the round. All right. And
Yeah.
whatever place I get, whatever. I sucked at that race, but that's okay. There's multiple factors why I sucked at that race. Um, but like the fact that the official was there and they
Hmm.
were able to handle the conflict in an appropriate manner is what
Hmm.
I think should happen. And
Yeah.
it wasn't the way in which this occurred, and that's
Yeah.
disappointing.
The thing about racing incidents is, unless you have multiple people watching the race at one time, you're going to miss things. And inevitably, if you're not in the top, two, three, four people who are
You may
battling it
never
out,
see that
you might
seventh
never
place guy get peeled.
You're right. And so I think there has to be, unless we have a situation where we have, three officials on the track, watching the races at all times, are we going to, eliminate any of that? So I think that, there is supposed to be a level of realistic, expectations. And I think that, yeah, if you're in the top 3 to 4, or you're battling, the only races for third and four right now going on the track, that, and there's appeal there, then there is. Now I felt that, the announcer, and I don't know who else, but maybe Jeff, there was some stop and goals called. Whether or not they were enforced or executed all the time, I don't know. But there was some called, and I did see it happen, or
Yeah,
positions were given back. And I think
it
I
just
saw
wasn't
that more
consistent.
at this race than I can ever recall seeing at Aurora Nationals.
Well, I don't know about that one, but okay.
But I mean, hey, that's just my outlook, and it is what it
Yeah,
is. But uh, uh, needless to say, I think that there has to be, the RMT team was not used or was not there. It was non-existent for the most part. It was not used in the most accurate way. There was poor organization and execution of the rules, and um, it's just not acceptable. I mean, if you're going to claim, and like you said, if you're going to make people jump through all these hoops, then let's do it.
yeah,
Don't just do it half-ass.
yeah.
And I think that's the, I think that's the, um, the biggest, problem or issue with the entire event. Again, this is nothing to say about Valkyra, the track, the club, anything like that. The
No,
race
I
in
like the guys of the club.
yeah, the race as a whole, I think was went off very uneventful. It ran like it should have. Um, I don't think we had one little slight delay one morning, but we still were able to manage to get everything done by 5 p.m. I think that um, you know it was a good event. You know,
Yep,
outside of just the normal ineptitude from Roar, and it's a shame. And if you're paying people to be there and they don't have a function, then that's even more shameful because there was people there who were doing way more work that were getting anything.
yep.
And I would really appreciate. Can you look at the? Wait, are you done working on your car?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I'm here just playing with the little bottle of putty. That's all. Closing the top, opening the top, closing the top, opening the top, sticking the ride height gauge into it, bubbling it out. Here you go. This is where my mind's at right now, bro. I am spent.
yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. No penalty for the yellow lawn dart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, there might have been a lot of exuberance on lap 2 of A1 of 13.5 at the back or 17.5 at the back.
Oh yeah.
And but yeah, I think there was a lot of unfortunate peels out there. Um, and again, it's at the back of the field. I don't think I ran away. I think I actually waited. Um, but one of the things, did you ever watch any of the F1 races, dude? Those were fucking brutal. These
Yeah,
guys
turn
were just
marshaled.
delivering the shit out of each other. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know how you would call a stop and go on those. Um, I think that would be hard.
Right.
And there were a few like give back demands out there on the track. Um, because there was a lot of cars like locking wheels.
Mhm.
There, there's definitely some guys who are much better than others at peeling the other cars out of the way. They were like skillful at it, and I
Mhm.
was pretty impressed by it. But yeah, in general, like it could go way better. And yeah, I don't know. Other than that, like my only other kind of grumpiness is no matter how hard the Mindfuck 1000 tried, I still had one set of bad tires. All
Right.
right. And so, I think different people probably experience the same sort of highs and lows of tires that I saw the first time I went to Valkyria with these tires. And I felt like I was ready for it this time.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I got taken out of like Q3 of mod qualifying by a really bad set of tires. I just pulled the car. I couldn't hang on to it. So there was no point in being out there, especially in modified. You're just gonna, wad something up. Um,
Right.
but yeah, in general, the event I think went pretty well. It was definitely it was interesting to see like a lot of these races to me feel like the battle of the locals versus the national racers. And so I would say, if you were a local and you made a main, especially in like a highly competitive class, one of the three championship classes, then I would say, good on you. You did a great job.
Yeah.
Conversely, if you traveled there and you made a main, same thing. Good on you.
Yeah.
You did a great job.
No,
Because
I think the level of competition that was there was really was good.
yeah,
And you know, I even did a breakdown of uh the races if they were done by rock around versus qual points, and really wouldn't have changed. I mean, some minor tweaks, but really pretty much the same. And so I think that it just goes to show that the systems that we do have in place, I think, are good. It's just we need to make sure that we follow and execute the rules. And if people don't understand what 12.3.6.3 is that that's if a tiebreaker for the domains is decided by total combined, not just the person's fastest run.
lapse in time.
Yeah, lapse in time, and
Mhm.
of the two best runs are combined together. And originally, the Roar official was just like, we'll just do the fastest run because they couldn't find the rule in the rule book. Like,
Yeah.
like
And so Mangler, how did you figure this out? Like,
I went
what
on
was
the
the
Roar.
motivation? What was the
Well, so
motivation that
so
drove you
so
to
here,
do this?
this is
Like,
what I'm thinking. So this is what went through my mind,
can,
and
can I can I provide my own version of it? So
you're
Mangler
gonna make like a
was
one
like,
act play out of this.
yeah, yeah. Mangler was like, oh, and like I don't have a Mangler voice, so I'm just gonna give you some random voice. He's like, oh shucks, man, I'm in the B main
Why
of
not I gotta
both
be fucking?
super stock.
Why I gotta sound like Alan Hall?
That's fine. Of both super stock and mod. That's it. I'm going home. I'm gonna go get it in tonight. And you notice how I used the fist? You know, not the but anyway, I'm gonna go get it in tonight instead of hanging out with all you toy car nerds. And then so Mangler collects all of his toys. He packs up and he actually heads back to the Airbnb early. And we're all just kind of sitting there. You're already gone. We're sitting there, and we were like, man, he's really broken up over this. And so that was step one of the 12-step program of I didn't make the main, but I think I should have been in the main. All right, because I think a tiebreaker fucked me. That's what Mangler was going through at the moment. And then, so we're gonna go to dinner, and we text you. You're like, come on, dude, let's go to dinner. Blah blah blah. We're gonna go to Hooters. Everyone loves Hooters. All right, and so you're like,
I do
come
like
pick.
Hooters.
Yeah. Anyway, if you're a man, you have to like Hooters. If you don't, well then you're a tool. All right. Anyway, so we pick you up and you're all jazzed all of a sudden. You have like all the energy all of a sudden. He's like, I think I was robbed. And he's like, I don't even know who to talk to yet, but I found a rule. Who do I talk to? So he calls call number one, Florida man, Chris Crowder. Chris Crowder, I'm really mad right now, but I'm happy you picked up my call. So thanks again for picking up my call. I don't blame you. I know this is the first Roar event you've actually run. Yada, yada, yada. Can you just try to get somebody to help? Please and thank you. Again, thank you for picking up my call. And so it's that like message out and a few other messages out. We hit up other people who are maybe more likely candidates in the Roar RMT like collection of folks, including Tim, who had been the announcer the past weekend at the NYGP, and to start like casting a net wide and far to try to figure out, was the Mangler wronged? And so, Mangler, I just gave like an outsider's view of how you got mangled. Can you explain the manglitude that was going through you at the time? As you saw that you were in the B main, and you're like, God damn, I'm in the B main. What do I
Why do I
do?
have to sound like a dumbass? Uh, so the thing was is like I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I didn't make it. I lost in the tiebreaker, and not officially knowing what the tiebreaker was, I'm like, I see their point. I see where they're using for the tiebreaker. I go, but I'm like, that doesn't seem right. And then I start thinking about it, and I think about more and more and more. I'm like, how does somebody who finishes? So if you have, I think the point total was 16. So one person had a 10 and a 6. I had 8 and 8, and I
Now,
think
how
you
many
had
people
9.
had 16 points?
3 of us.
Oh, wow. So me and you both had the same points tally.
Yes. Yes, you had a 9 and a 7, but
Ooh.
I had an 8 and 8. So the way I'm looking at it is, I have a fucking pair, and I got beat by a 10 and 6. Like, that doesn't make sense, right? And
Oh.
I start digging in the numbers, and I'm like, well, how the like it just didn't make sense. So then I'm like, well, fuck it, I gotta go read the rules. What's the tiebreaker supposed to be? Because it just like, how does it 2 8s get beat by a 10 and a 6? Like, it doesn't make sense, right? It shouldn't, theoretically. And so um I just couldn't figure it out. And so, like, that's why I went to the Royal Rule Book, and then by that time, you guys have shown up, and I'm like, I think there's a discrepancy. And it not only affected our race, it affected the 13 or 17-5 race as well. Um, and it changed the starting order for that race because there was a lot of people tied at 14 in that one. So I think that um, and just to come out, just to where the person didn't know, the person who made the call on how to do it didn't know the rule and couldn't find the rule, yet I was able to find it in literally 3 minutes. I
Well,
just,
Megler,
again,
we all know
look,
you're good
I
at
know there's a lot of
flooring.
people that suck at their job, and that therefore they don't have that job any longer, right? That's what's happening here.
Is there a
I'm just saying.
union? Is that what you're saying?
No, they're just, some people are just not good at certain jobs.
Yeah.
And I think that this person is not good at their certain job of a roar official. I mean,
Yeah,
that's all
maybe.
there is to it. And when I have people that aren't good at certain jobs, I either A, find them a job they can handle, or B, they don't work there anymore.
Hmm.
And
And
I don't.
and are you just you're basically shocked by the fact that the actual person who is the IFMAR president doesn't know that, some of the rules are different between ROAR and IFMAR and, yada yada yada, and these are the details?
Well, I guess the thing is, I understand that you're not necessarily supposed to know every rule by heart. I get that, right? But you should have the ability to look it up and read it. I mean, I work to a standard that's international, and there's a book that's this fucking thick. And if you don't know how, if something's acceptable or on the fence or rejectable, you go to the book and you read it, and it tells you exactly where it's at. And then and it's like, okay, it says right here. And the fact that a person who has an official capacity cannot go to a book that's only this big, literally this big, and find the rule is it's just shocking to me, I guess. But I guess on the
Yeah.
other hand, it's like, look, hey, like I said, there's a lot of people that are suck at their job, and so this kind of just goes right along with it. So
Yeah. Well, I I don't know, but it was really fun to watch um the sort of like, I didn't make the main depression from Mangler, and then coming out of it, and then he was so jazzed about it, and we were taking videos of him in Hooters, and he was getting mad because I was taking videos of him in Hooters, and yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I do concur with what Dave said. I feel bad for the kid that was in the main, and at the time we all left the track, and worse than that, he bought another set of these shitty tires, and was prepared to run the shitty tires, for racing.
Maybe that's why he did run them, and that's why he waxed your ass.
I don't think so, because his hot lap was still slower than mine unused, but and
Okay.
I think waxed my ass is a little rough, but that's okay. I would say I 100,000,000,000% agree with why limit tires for a national event, um, especially when the tires kind of suck donkey. Um, mind you, if I had more tires, then I could have maybe more tires that suck donkey. But there is a whole strategy, and some people like that strategy game of, well, I did so well that I don't need to run tires now, and blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah blah blah. But you know what? If you're fucking behind the eight ball, like my round one of 13.5 touring car. I'm sorry, 17.5
17.
touring car. I want to call it 13.5 because that when I used to be fast in
Yeah.
super stock, it was 13.5 touring car, right? That's why. Anyway, so super stock touring car. Um, I did a 99% run, and I was 11th. My shit
Yeah.
just sucked that round. All right, and that was round one, and you got to run new tires round one.
Yeah.
And like, I ran used tires round two, and somehow or another, I got a 7th for the round. I don't know how the fuck that happened.
Yeah.
All right, and I went
And
like
that's kind of
2 tenths
that's
faster.
that was part of the reason why I dug into the thing. It's like it does. There is a certain level of you can get lucky and run a not great run, but still score good points.
Yeah.
You know, like
Well.
my in 17.5, my Q4 time was literally the eighth fastest. The Q3 time was no,
Mhm.
was it? Yeah, it was like the eighth fastest time of the
Yep.
weekend. Yet I only got 12 points.
Yep. And I had the
Or it
7th
was
fastest time of the weekend in
yeah,
that round, and that same round. But like, it's all about kind of getting lucky. Like, your car
yeah,
has to be good that round, and the track has to not suck balls that round. And
yeah. Or like
like
enough
in
people
the
fail in
morning,
front of you
yeah, a few
or
other people
whatever.
have less luck, blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
I think the one thing I will say is, we had gone to that Nats, or I'm sorry, we had gone to Valkyrie in 2016. I think I ran super stock and mod. I don't actually remember what the results were.
You did
I
run
think,
mod because you were in the B main again because I beat you.
wow. Okay, wow. Anyway, so um yeah. So
It's just
anywho,
facts.
yeah, that's fine. All right. Anyway, but like, I feel this time around, whether you're in the A main or the B main, whatever the case might be, I also will note to say that you did not do a 12-second lap, and I crushed the fucking 12.7 in round four as I threw my fucking car onto a curb straight into the fucking wall. Anyway, because I was just like, I was like, I'm on top of the world. I feel invincible. Let's fucking go for it. And yeah, I went for it. And instead of getting like a 3 or a 4 for the round, I got a 9, and that sucked balls. But anyway, um, it was still the best run I probably ever did in mod at that track, even with a 17-second lap instead of a 13-second lap.
Hmm.
And I was actually on the same lap, or within a lap of Sam Isaacs in modified.
Yeah.
That's fucking unheard of. All right. Now, mind you, you could be like, well, FJ, that lap's kind of long. And I could be like, go fuck yourself. But, the reality is, it was pretty close. All right. And even like, you look at how well Mike G did. Mike G, probably, if he ran his 13.5 car, he might have qualified fourth in mod. Some shit like that. That fucking car was on fire. And it wasn't because the car was fast. Like, it was kind of fast down the straightaway. I think I kind of almost ran him over down the straightaway. But the shit was just on point in the corners. He was driving amazing, etc.
Hmm.
And even then, I was even closer to Mike G on my best run compared to his best run. So a lot of people, I think, ran really well at this event.
Hmm.
And even if we were all in the B main, you and me were in the B main, with those times, they were very respectable times. And I, for one, was proud of the effort we put forth
Mhm.
at this track, especially compared to the last time I was there when I spent 2 days and I ran for 6 hours in the fucking dampness. So, based upon what I had learned or not learned at all, um, I feel like it was a good result.
No, I mean, yeah, I felt that I didn't do very well, but I did respectable in the fact that I did personal best in both classes, and what more can you do than that?
Dude,
And
you
so,
did 28 laps in mod, right?
yeah, yeah,
I don't even think you knew that. You were excited when I told you.
yeah, I knew it, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I knew it. Okay. All right. I'm okay,
anyway.
Goku. Anyway,
Yeah, I am.
yeah.
I go
So
try to kill him.
yeah. And so here's a suggestion. A shot of Henny and some boobies can fix the depression. All right, that's actually not a bad suggestion. All right. And so that is the sort of logic that runs a lot of people at the New York Grand Prix and at 360 V2 in general. Yeah. Anyway, uh, so yeah, that was the Roar Nationals. A few other things that were just shockers to me. All right.
Mhm.
Um, First one was running a Wolverine outdoors. Holy shit.
Mm. Yeah, never would have
Um,
thought it. I've tried that body every weekend I've been there for almost a year, and it sucked balls. And then for whatever reason, I see Sam Isaacs run it, and I fucking
you're
put
like,
it on
okay,
just for
I'll run
shits and
it too.
giggles. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
put it for shits and giggles, and all of a sudden it fucking works. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah.
I mean, I swear I've run that body every time, and I never
Hmm.
liked it. And all of a
Hmm.
sudden, now I liked it. I'm like, I don't
Did
know.
you really like it, or you just did it because Sam did it?
No, I really liked it. Like
Okay.
I mean, trust me, I'm not gonna run something because Sam does. I'm not that. I'm not like one of those people that pit towards the ends of our table. But I really, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Anyway, yeah. And like the time I was there prior, I tried a few different bodies. I don't think I revisited bodies at all. Maybe I tried once. I tried mod touring. I tried the JCon once,
Yeah.
and it didn't turn enough for me. But I think I've also come to the realization that I am trying to make the car turn in a way where it's probably not the fastest way possible in mod. So
Yeah.
I'm letting the car turn on neutral power, and conversely, uh, Sam or other fast people are coming in. They're heavier on the brakes. They have more brakes. They have more drag brakes, and then they're basically throttle driving that son of a bitch out of the corner. Um, and that is producing a faster lap time, or
Mhm.
maybe a consistently faster lap time. And I'm more thinking about how do I take the car and how do I flow it around the track, and how am I just not fucking wide the fuck open the whole time? Because
Mhm.
if you've ever seen someone overdrive a car, like a car or a track layout, that's
Mhm.
this guy right here. So,
Yeah.
um,
I'm
my
guilty too.
general goal is to not do that. And
Right.
but I think there needs to be some more of a combo of
I
trying to
totally agree.
slow that down
Yep.
using more things than just my finger. So maybe like a
Mhm.
little more push or a little more drag in the speedo.
Right.
But in general, like I was actually pretty happy with um, you know the sort of modified program was pretty good. And I also got to say, and like again, hell could freeze over right now. I have to really, 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 really thank Kevin Abbott at Trinity for some help with some fucking motors this past weekend.
Yeah.
Um, my
Hooked you up,
stuff
huh?
was, yeah, I felt like I was carrying a parachute behind my shit this weekend. Um, it was unfortunate fact of like the motor I planned on running, I didn't have the right legal rotor for. So I then decided to run an R1 motor, and that thing was a fucking dog. And then I just took my brand new slot machine over and I said, "Hey, could you give this a look once over?" And then, bada boom, bada bing, I had a fucking rocket ship on my hands.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was pretty good. I was quite excited about that. Um, things could have went differently if UPS delivered things on time. If we didn't have to have UPS, or didn't have to have a beautiful woman ship another box from UPS from one side of Florida to the other side of Florida, and all this other horse shit. Um, but yeah, it is what it is, and it might just been fate. It just worked out. All right.
Yeah.
And so, well, I might have only had the seventh fastest like overall run or whatever the case might be. I didn't feel like I was getting worked over via horsepower in one scenario. And the other scenario, I didn't feel like I was just spinning tires incessantly like a
Mhm.
fucking no talent ass clown.
Mhm.
So, um, yeah, all in all, I feel like there's things to build on.
Yeah.
Whenever I send you labels and you ship my shit back, I'm gonna take these the super stock and the mod touring car. I've already ripped the motor out of the super stock because I'm gonna run that this weekend in 12 scale. But I'm gonna take those two cars, I'm gonna put them on a shelf, and I'm gonna be like, okay, well, the next time I go to an asphalt race, these guys are coming with me, and
Okay.
that's all I need to kind of worry about. So yeah, but so I think all in all, some positive outcomes, and I had fun at least, so that's always important.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to run the event, which also was enjoyable.
So
And
speaking of running events,
yeah,
how
yeah.
does how was the experience at the New York Grand Prix? Let's transition to the other race that
Well, I think we should
of your
ask the people.
trifecta
Yeah, yeah.
of
I
race
think we should.
weekends.
We would have to ask people who attended the event because I worked the event like a bitch.
Mhm.
And so like what I had hoped or thought didn't necessarily pan out the way, I was like, oh, okay, I'll help all the stuff remotely, and then I'll show up to the event, and yeah, it'll just be FJ time, and I can fucking wrench my cars, I can do
Mhm.
this, I can do that, and I was like, no, I spent 5 hours selling tires and marking
Mm.
tires and this, that, whatever else, and other nonsense that I had no fucking interest in doing.
Right.
So other than that, yeah, it was great. In general, I think uh, the key, in my opinion, to having an event that's decent is you have to try to have a schedule and you have to hold to a schedule. So we tried to do that,
Mhm.
and we also have 59 people on now. This is one of the highest ever.
Oh
Anyway,
wow.
so so we worked with Tim before the event on a rough schedule, thinking about what the last year had been like and other things that we'd hoped to do. Um, and so I think for 2023, we do have some ideas on what to change.
Mhm.
And one of the things we'd probably change, and people may or may not like this, but we're thinking about having uh, ultimately, and I'm just going to my notes from the NYGP. Um, we're thinking about, well, how would we make it better? And so one of the things that we think would make it better would be to have seating done split across 2 days. So we could offer a round of seating on Thursday, and then come back the next day, have some practice, a little more seating, and then give people a break before we run into Q1.
Okay.
Because the getting a lot of things done on, and I want to say
Friday.
we got it done on Friday.
Mhm.
So basically, we had an hour and a half of practice roughly. Then we had 2 3-minute rounds of seating,
Yep.
and then we jumped into qualifying right then. Like maybe the track was open for like 20 minutes,
Right.
and then it just made for a very long day, and you almost couldn't process what had happened because you did it so quickly. It wasn't the
Right.
traditional 6 minute or 8 minute between a round or
Yeah.
a
You
run.
guys were flying.
Yeah, we were banging things out really fast, and
Right.
yeah. So Andrew Mowry, I'm not a track owner, and this might make me never want to be one. So anyway, the thing that uh, yeah, Steele, I I do have a college degree. There's a lot of people that also do, and they're definitely not that smart. But anyway, so I would think there's always things we can do to improve the event, and we're
Hmm.
honestly open to hear feedback and whatnot. Like one of the unfortunate things that happened on the way out of the event, some people took the wrong trophies. And then we were like trying to figure out, well, where's the first place for this one and where's the first place
Hmm.
for that one? And yeah, so that was painful, more painful than I'd wanted it to be. And especially at the end of a long day, I was just spent. Even though we were done about 1 p.m., I was just like, yep, can't wait to get the hell out of here, pack up my shit and leave.
Right.
Um, and poor Mike G. So if folks don't know, Mike G
New York
is,
Mike G.
yeah, New York Mike G. He was, you know, tirelessly working weeks leading up to this event, and basically a one-man wrecking crew.
Hmm.
And um, the poor guy, like by Sunday, he was spent.
Hmm.
He was just like passed out, sleeping in one of the 360 Live chairs, gaming chairs, at the front of the building. And I don't think anyone pulled their pants out and tried to like take any like
Oh yeah.
bad
No.
bad pictures with them. I
I
definitely
bet
took a few
Steel Rain could
selfies.
figure that out.
Maybe anyway.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, it was. Um, he was spent, and I know he called me the next day. He's like, "Yeah, I was asleep for 24 hours. How you doing?" And it just definitely um, took him out, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's a little difficult. So anyway, end of the day, we kind of got through it. Um, things could always be better. And I'm not even trying to talk about the sauce adventures and the pits and all the other nonsense that occurred on Facebook since then.
Yeah.
I'm kind of over it. I've
Well, I
already
think
done
I
a
think you
podcast about
it's
it.
about it. Yeah, you scabbed the podcast, so you stole the
Yep,
thunder
thank
from
you.
fucking us.
Hmm. Yep.
I really appreciate that. Um, you know, goddamn. I mean, we're here. Just fucking me over again. Yeah. All right. Whatever.
Yeah.
So
Well.
yeah, but yeah, if you want to go to the No Name podcast or whatever the fuck it is, where this
Bitter
little
party of one.
where this
Anyway, yeah.
asshole whores himself out at.
Yeah.
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 He does another
Anyway.
podcast with his other fat friend, and he's fucking. Let's see how it is.
Yeah. So anyway, like, the whole thing, frankly, I'm over any of that. I don't
At
want to
this
talk
point, I mean, what
about
are
it
you more you gonna?
anymore.
I mean, at this point, what are you gonna do, right? The shit's been
Nothing.
put out there on the internet. If you don't know what it is, go fucking read it. Go read Facebook because I'm sure it's there, And what's done is done, and what's said has been said. And at
Yeah.
this point, there's no changing it. There's no reconciliation. Uh, things have been said, things have been
Hmm.
done, and it's over.
Yep.
And we all know what
It's
happened.
over.
And fuck it, let's go, keep it moving. And
Yep.
this weekend you have a Halloween classic.
Yeah. 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 And so, other than me trying to wrench on this car right now, which is one of the things I need to do, because I leave Thursday night, um, you know, for the event. So
Yeah, but it's
I
Tuesday
have
night. You got 48 hours.
no, I don't have 48 hours, bro. I have an angry 24 hours in me, and that's about it,
Yeah.
to get this done. Yeah. So, we'll see. And but I'm excited to go back to the gate. I love the gate.
Hmm.
The thing I like about the gate is I like how small it is, and
How
the,
close
the
you're rubbing shoulder to shoulder with the guy
yeah,
next to
yeah,
you, and
I
the
like being nuts to
sweatiness.
butts,
Yeah.
and it is
All
very
the
hot in
man
there
love that
too.
happens there. That's why they
Yeah,
call
but
it the gate.
yeah, and the thing that's interesting about the track is like the carpet roll is very deep in it, but yet it's not so long. So the track is 80 by 40.
Mhm.
Um, and so it's usually, I would say deeper than most tracks because often people just do a 3-roll track and that's 36 feet. So
Mhm.
you can kind of get like another kind of a lane of action
Yep.
going on.
Yep.
And, um, because the track isn't so big, you can, as a guy who's getting a bit older, even though you're on top of the track, you can actually see all of the track.
Mhm.
And, yeah, so for me it's helpful, and I have very fond memories of TQing various events there and blowing the fuck out, and I can't wait to TQ yet again, hopefully stock 12 scale, and then blow the fuck out. So it should be fantastic.
Well, good.
Let's go. Yeah.
Hey, let's go is right. I mean, uh, the gate is kind of one of the again, it's probably one of the longer running clubs tracks in the North America. They've
Yeah.
been in that same strip mall for God knows how long,
Since
and
for the last decade or so. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the fact that a track has been in one place for a decade, I mean, is
Pretty good.
says a lot. Yeah, and you know, they make it work.
Hmm.
Again, you are nuts to butts in there, and you're rubbing shoulders, you're sweating it out with the guy next to you. I mean, it's very, you're gonna get probably some race aids, and I mean, hey, but it's still a fun time. It's a great environment, a great crowd,
Yep.
great people. Um, and
Yeah.
it's
I
always
can't
a
wait to go. It's on
yeah,
my calendar every year.
yep,
And I've been going to this race since I want to say 2010.
yeah,
Actually, no, I take that back. I've been going. The first year I went was the last year they were at their old facility, which was in the basement
yep. I've been
of
there.
some place, which was I went there
A
in
bingo hall or
2009.
some shit.
Yeah, I don't know. It was in the basement. It was sketchy, but
Yeah,
I actually prefer the new place that they're in way
yeah.
better. And but in general, fantastic group of people. Um, like the way you could describe it. I like the vibe of the place.
Mhm.
There's, some kind of like crotchety old dudes. These old dudes do stuff though. I like these old dudes, all right?
Yeah.
So not all old dudes are the same, all right?
Mm-mm.
And you got Chuck with his love sauce and all this other nonsense that's going on there.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited to get back there. And this year, I'm thankful to have a direct flight home. I got stuck in Detroit on the way home last year, which sucked. And I do have, and I'm a little concerned about this. I do have a multi-hop trip. I have a stop in Denver, and then I go to Cleveland from there. But worst case scenario, I got my cars with me, and I have a bunch of stuff coming to the event, courtesy of one of my good friends, Jeff Rowland. Thanks again, Jeff Rowland. And we'll be happy just to see everybody there. Um, so yeah, I don't know, is what it is. So, but yeah, that's all I can think of. Mangler, do you have anything else to keep the people interested?
No, not right now. I think we're good. I think we've
Okay.
hit the high notes. I do want to again go back and say, hey, great job to Valkyria, the race, the crew, the
Yeah.
track. Nothing, it's not your,
I
it's not.
honestly, I want to go back there,
Yeah.
and I wanna actually get my 28 lap run in modified in. All right. I feel like the track owes me. Even after a 17-second lap, I did an 01. I want to get that 28, and yeah, and I honestly really want to try some different brake settings on my speedo right
Hmm.
now in mod touring on asphalt. But
Hmm.
again, I'm just going to wait patiently, and
Well, I get to in a few weeks, so hey.
you'll be at Valkyrie
No, I'm
or
going to
somewhere
go to
else. Oh,
new state race in Nuggets.
okay. Yeah, yeah. Well, I think it'd be worthwhile, trying a
Yep.
slightly higher drag brake threshold, and
Well, I've finally gotten to the point in Valkyria at least that I've had a car that I've showed up to like almost 3 weeks, 3 events in a row, and it's been fairly consistent.
mhm,
So like now is the opportunity that I can actually start playing with some of this shit. instead of
Yeah.
trying to get a car to go around a track.
Yeah.
And
Well, and I can tell you, like, the car that I raced. I came away from that last trip when it was raining all the time, and I was like, man, this car's the biggest bag of dicks. How does Sam drive this fucking setup around the track?
Mhm,
And then I get to go to SeaTac. I put our local tires on, and I'm like, oh shit, this is the most amazing mod touring car I've ever driven.
mhm.
And to the point where I kid you not, and a lot of people who know me will agree I probably did this. I did not even work on the car. It didn't go on gauges. No one checked. I didn't check the droop. I didn't check the ride height. I did nothing to the fucking car until right before round 3. I didn't even run practice on it with the changes I made. And round 3 was a shit show, but I blame the tires because I tried the tires again the next day and they sucked. Um, and then round 4, you get a little love from your friends. They like run through your car real quick, sort out the dumb shit that you've just been ignorant to, and you can fucking lay down a run or
Mhm,
almost lay down a run,
mhm.
and it's pretty amazing. And so just it's like the little things, the incremental changes, the incremental improvement. I think that's what I like about the hobby.
Well,
Um,
that's what keeps coming you back, because I said this to my friend the other day. I'm like, it's like it's like playing golf, right? In a way. So like, the first three qualifiers you have are like the first three holes you play, you're like bogey, bogey, bogey. But then the fourth hole, you're like fucking, oh, you hit a birdie or an eagle, and you're like, all right, I'm fucking back in. Let's
mhm,
go. Let's go do this, right? And then,
yep.
it's one of those things that it's like you and I know not everyone experiences. I mean, Sam Isaacs never has to experience this, or Mike G never has to experience it. I mean, they just fucking, oh, I just show up to races and I fucking dominate and I go home. But for us more normal folk, you struggle or you have a bad run or whatever, and it's just like, God damn, why am I doing this? And then all of a sudden, like, it all kind of comes together, and you have one really good run, and you're like, oh, okay, I can do this. And
Mhm,
so, I think that is part of the hobby um, that I do enjoy, outside of hanging out with idiots like you, uh, that make it worth doing, because it's that inner competitiveness that I have with myself that, um, I don't know, is attractive in some regards. I don't know how to say it any other way, but it's fun, it's enjoyable. um,
yeah.
you know
No,
and
I agree.
yeah, I do talk negatively, because I talk negatively about myself, but I don't never but I'm just more being honest, like, I'm just not that good, you know I
Yeah,
have, people,
but
there's a lot of people out there that think they're doing some shit and they're not doing anything, and it's just all fucking smoke and mirrors, folks, so please, pay attention.
um, yeah, yeah. I might just leave it at that. So anyway, I I'm still trying to recover. I could use a nap. We woke up Mangler from a nap to do the podcast, and that's how things happen. These days and age. You
Yeah, you
gotta
gotta
make
take naps, man.
things. Yeah, you gotta make things happen. I will try to not go to the winking lizard
Yeah,
at the gate. It's pretty
don't go there.
terrible.
Don't go there.
I do
Somehow you'll
recommend
end up there anyway.
possibly they're open
Yeah,
late. I am
yeah.
going to try to go to this other place called the Caddy Shack.
Yep,
It's even more of a shithole,
but
but
it's
I
got
enjoy.
character.
Yes, it is a
You
giant
get a
character,
fucking
and I
free bowl of
enjoy it.
soup when you walk into with that fucking place.
I don't know if you get a bowl of soup, but there is karaoke. So if you want to do some karaoke, you should go there. Um, yeah. Anyway,
What's your go-to karaoke song?
I have two.
Okay.
One would be Brass Monkey
Oh
by the
yeah,
Beastie Boys.
yeah, yeah.
And then I can also do many different versions of Guns N' Roses songs. I could do Paradise City. Are you okay, Mangler? You're right.
That's funny.
I could do Paradise City. I could do Patience, including the whistling at the
Oh
entire beginning of the song.
yeah.
Yeah, you got to take a little bit of maybe a little water to get your palate
Yep.
right.
Yep.
But
Yep.
yeah, I could do that. Um, There's many other songs I could probably do, but those would be what I would call my go-tos. I
Okay.
especially like to emulate Axl Rose, and then at the end, I take the microphone and I smash it on the ground. The
Oh, I'm sure the
proprietors of
karaoke people love that.
the proprietors of the karaoke places love me for that, but I
Uh-huh.
feel like it's authentic.
Yeah,
That's what
you're
Axl would do. You
staying
got to
true to
take
the
it.
art.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hmm
yeah. You're an
Exactly.
artist. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And no, I would not do November Rain. That song sucks. Fuck that song. Bruno, I love you, but fuck that song. Anyway,
well,
um,
congratulations to Bruno, by the way, just getting married a couple weeks ago.
yeah, I saw him the week that he got married, and it's crazy. I do I am available for events, Corey. Like if just bring me out. Like I can do backyard events. I'm not that expensive, and I'm definitely willing to do that. Like your daughter, I think she had a first birthday party. Invite me to the second birthday party.
Bar
I'll
mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs,
I'll
you're
do that.
there. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll do that. It'll be great. Everyone
Sweet
will have fun.
16s and
Yeah,
yeah, oh
we'll all get
yeah.
laid. It'll be awesome. Um, but anywho, um, yeah. So I'm happy you enjoyed that. So anywho, uh, with that said, I think I can probably only get in trouble with anything else I'm going to say. So Corey's birthday's coming up, and maybe
Oh,
we can make something happen. All right.
nice.
Um, I think next week what we should talk about, other than the Halloween race, is Mangler. Get ready to answer. What are you gonna go to Halloween with this year?
No.
Now, I think you need to answer that.
I mean, I'll answer it now.
What are you gonna
But
go with?
well, I'm
Are you gonna be
here.
in that singlet that you shared the picture of?
Yes.
Oh,
So,
yes, yes.
however, there will be no photographs, and this will
Oh my!
never.
There will be singlet photographs for sure. Wow.
So,
Yes, there will definitely be a singlet photograph. I will pay a bounty. We're going to get TMZ down to wherever you are, and they are going to bird dog you. And I'm going to get a picture of Mangler in a singlet. Yes, that's what we want. Because you showed us two pictures of you in a singlet, and it was amazing. One, you're just standing there, and the other one, you're ready to rip someone's fucking face off. It was amazing.
yeah, those will never
Amazing.
leave my fucking phone ever. Like,
Well, that's okay. We'll hack your phone. It'll be great.
but
Yeah.
yeah, it
Mangler in a
was.
singlet, folks. Yes.
Yeah. So like, I pulled out my old wrestling singlets from my AAU days, and the elastic still elastics because it's doing a
Well,
lot of it. It's
they
hanging
don't
on
make
for dear life. It's
yeah,
got that figure four.
they don't make shit like they used to. Let's put it that way, bro.
No.
That's impressive.
So,
And
but yeah,
all right.
it's
Well, red is really your color.
yes, it is.
And
Yes, yes.
I can't wait. I will have to start messaging somebody on the back channel and see if I can get some pictures.
Not gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. It's
I
totally gonna
mean,
happen.
there's going to be a lot of grossed out people at this event that I'm going
Exactly.
to.
They're gonna take the video for me.
No.
They are. It's gonna be good.
It's like that scene in Steel Magnolias where that woman was wearing that dress and she's like, it looks like two pigs fighting in a blanket.
Yeah. Okay.
You don't watch that movie, so never mind.
No, I'm not an old person.
You can't
Or an
quote
old
Steel
woman.
Magnolias like me. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah, I can't. Sorry, bro.
Yes, I know. One of my unique talents.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is, my friend. It is what
Yeah.
it is. So
In any case, well, good luck this weekend.
I'm
I
gonna
hope you're
need
doing
it.
well. Get all the motor data because I kind of need to hear about it. Sounds
Yeah.
like the slot machine has a lot of promise.
It could. It really could. And yeah, so I think we'll have to figure out, what's the hot shit. I hear the world is coming to Florida. 12 scale is going to be alive in November.
Is that for
And
sure?
I, I, nothing is ever for sure.
Right.
but I believe November 2023 World's Beach Line. Come get some.
Mm-hmm.
And just so you know, in order to go to the event, you have to qualify to the event, most likely. So hopefully, there's going to be a droves of people attending the 2023 Roar Carpet On-Road Nationals, which I believe is going to be held in lovely Murfreesboro, Tennessee, at Apex Raceway. Hope to see you there.
You don't have to qualify. You can still fucking put in for a thing.
Okay, well, that's what you hope. I think, you know what? You make the main, you fucking there. So think about it. Don't sleep on it.
All
All right.
right.
I can say, like, I've made, multiple mains, 13.5, whatever, the last few years. Being car 10 is still car 10, suck a dick. And the reality is, if I've been in multiple prior A mains of that class, I can probably get into the event without going to the 2023 event. But if you haven't, maybe you want to go. Show the guy some support, show him some love. I hear he's already sold out of sponsorships for the most part. And Robert, you're asking, is that official? I'm going to say it's pretty darn official. He's the only fool that put in for the race because no one else wants to deal with these clowns at Roar.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. So, and in the future, I hear great things. I hear a lot of interesting ideas coming out of Clayton Young, and we just need to get him president, and then we'll all be there.
I mean, Clayton does have when it comes to, like, say, what we had at the Paved this past week, he still has an issue of getting people to be competent and be there and be in a role, right?
Yeah,
So, like, that's still a challenge because I don't really feel that Roar just was trying to. I don't think they could find anybody who wanted to go.
maybe they just don't want to be part of the team.
I, that's what I'm saying. So therefore, I mean, that is a challenge in itself to find people who want to be part of the
Well,
team.
if we have to actually rock the vote, we'll get the guy on. We'll sort it out. He'll tell you. He'll preach it, and we'll sort it out. But until then, I gotta go.
All right.
All right, Mangler.
Later.
It's always been fun,
Yes,
and
have
to
fun.
everybody, hope to see you guys at a race soon. And if not, we'll see you here next week on Track Rats.
Later.
Bye bye.